Is there such a thing as a toxic culture in the locker room?
It can be. It can be, especially when you're losing and you're not around a lot of veterans and people who understand that there might come time in the season where you might lose and how to handle it. It can get toxic. And I've been in some toxic situations, but not too bad.
Let Rio
I never heard of this story though.
What did he say? What did you say?
Stop acting like a bitch. That's it.
All right.
I mean,
I said that, man, and I got kicked off the Lakers, so I know how you feel, nigga.
I got big for the whole game, bro.
Dwight Howard is finally speaking out about what really happened behind the scenes during his time around LeBron James and the Lakers. And now NBA fans are going crazy trying to connect all the dots. Because for years, people looked at that Lakers roster on paper and thought there was no way that team should have failed the way it did. You had LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, and a locker room full of veterans who had seen everything in basketball. But instead of dominating the league, that team completely collapsed under pressure. And now Dwight is hinting that the problems inside the locker room were way deeper than people realized. The biggest thing catching attention right now is Dwight admitting that something felt off with the energy around the team. And when you look back at everything that happened during that season, it honestly explains a lot. Because from the very beginning, the Lakers never looked connected. They looked tense. They looked frustrated. Every loss felt heavier than it should have. And every post-game interview sounded like players were trying to say the right thing without actually saying what was really going on behind closed doors.
Ego to people on the outside when they see like a DeMarcus in the locker room mad at his teammates or something, or, say, hey, y'all gotta step it up. They might take that as...
What makes Dwight's comments hit harder is the fact that he has now played with multiple superstar personalities throughout his career. Kobe Bryant, James Harden, Steve Nash, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. He has seen different locker room environments at the highest level of basketball. So when a veteran like Dwight says the chemistry felt strange, fans immediately start wondering how bad things actually were internally. And this is not just random internet gossip either. Dwight has already spoken publicly before about tension involving LeBron. Recently, he even admitted there was a moment where he confronted LeBron during a game about getting back on defense. And according to Dwight, that moment completely changed things between them. Fans instantly connected that story to the broader collapse of that Lakers team because people always suspected there were leadership issues bubbling under the surface. The crazy part is that during the outside interviews and press conferences, the Lakers kept trying to present themselves like everything was under control. LeBron would talk about patience, AD would talk about injuries, coaches would mention rotations and consistency. But on the court, the body language told a different story. Guys looked irritated with each other constantly. Defensive effort disappeared some nights. Players openly showed frustration after missed assignments. And now Dwight is basically confirming that the vibes behind the scenes never truly felt right.
I'm pretty sure he does. And I'm pretty sure he did. We'll never know if it was something personal or it was just, them moving in a different direction. I don't think we'll ever really get a true and honest answer.
Have you asked LeBron directly? Have you ever had a chance to ask him?
I haven't asked.
Here's the part nobody is talking about. Championship locker rooms usually have tension, but they also have trust. The problem with those Lakers teams is that the trust never fully developed. A lot of players seemed unsure of their roles from day one. One night, Dwight would play meaningful minutes. The next night, he barely touched the floor. Russell Westbrook looked uncomfortable in the offense almost immediately. Carmelo Anthony became more of a spot-up shooter than an actual offensive weapon. Younger role players looked terrified to make mistakes because every game felt like national news. That creates pressure fast. And when you combine pressure with aging veterans, non-stop media attention, and sky-high expectations, every little disagreement suddenly feels massive. Dwight's comments about something feeling off make more sense when you remember just how chaotic that season became emotionally. The Lakers were supposed to compete for a championship, yet by midseason, people were already debating whether the team even liked playing together. One thing Dwight has always been brutally honest about is locker room energy. Sometimes that honesty gets him in trouble, but it also makes people listen when he speaks. Years ago, he talked about feeling disrespected or misunderstood during different parts of his NBA career. He has openly discussed how narratives about him spread quickly, and how people outside locker rooms often create stories without knowing what players are actually dealing with internally. So when Dwight says something felt wrong inside the Lakers environment, people take that seriously because he has seen both healthy and toxic NBA situations firsthand.
What I was told was that you guys didn't have an offer for me.
Oh, no, that's not true. We made an offer.
I never even knew that. He told me, well, actually, he said that you guys had an offer. And then he said you guys took the offer back and said no.
And let's be real for a second. LeBron-led teams have always come with enormous pressure. That is part of being one of the biggest athletes in sports history. Every possession gets analyzed. Every teammate gets compared. Every failure becomes a headline. Some players thrive in that environment. Others slowly crack under it. Dwight seems to be suggesting that by the time the Lakers season spiraled, the pressure had turned the locker room into something uncomfortable. This is where it gets dangerous, because once players start feeling disconnected emotionally, basketball problems multiply fast. Defensive communication gets worse, trust disappears late in games, guys stop rotating with the same urgency, players start worrying more about blame than winning. And that Lakers team looked exactly like that towards the end. It was never just about injuries or bad shooting. It looked like a group that stopped believing in the collective vision.
I ain't ruined it.
You did ruin it.
I got my own puppet right at home right now. My dog done messed it up, but I still got a puppet at the house, and I'm glad I ruined it because that one ain't right. They pissed our whole team off, and I'm glad we went out there and we showed LeBron and the Cavs that hell no, the puppet gotta go.
A lot of fans now look back at Russell Westbrook as the main reason things failed, but Dwight's comments suggest the problems ran much deeper than one player. Westbrook became the easiest target because his mistakes were loud and visible. But chemistry issues? Those are harder to explain publicly. Coaches rarely admit it, superstars avoid talking about it directly, front offices definitely do not want it leaking out, but former players eventually tell the truth once enough time passes. What also makes this fascinating is how differently people describe LeBron as a teammate depending on their experience. Some players absolutely love playing with him. They talk about his basketball IQ, leadership, preparation, and ability to elevate teammates. Others quietly hint at how exhausting the pressure can become when expectations are championship or bust every single year. Dwight's latest comments seem to fall somewhere in the middle. It does not sound like he is attacking LeBron personally. It sounds more like he is describing an environment that slowly became emotionally draining. And honestly, if you watched that Lakers season closely, you could feel it through the screen. Every loss looked heavier. Every timeout looked tense. Every interview sounded rehearsed. Compare that to the Lakers' bubble championship team in 2020. That group had chemistry. They celebrated together, they defended together. Dwight himself played an important role on that team because everyone accepted their role. There was clarity, there was sacrifice, there was a belief. But by the latter Lakers run, the energy looked completely different. Older veterans were fighting for minutes, younger players were inconsistent, injuries kept changing lineups, and the pressure of chasing another championship with LeBron at his age created desperation. Dwight saying something felt off honestly feels like the perfect summary of that entire season. Another important detail here is that Dwight has matured a lot publicly over the years. Early in his career, people criticized him constantly for smiling too much, joking too much, or not appearing serious enough. Later, people accused him of being difficult in locker rooms. Dwight has spent years defending himself against those narratives. So now when he talks calmly and reflectively about Lakers drama, fans are seeing a different version of Dwight Howard than they saw 10 years ago. And because of that, people are paying closer attention to what he says, especially when he hints at moments involving LeBron. The story about confronting LeBron defensively shocked people because most role players rarely speak openly about challenging superstar leaders. But Dwight basically implied he said what he felt. And after that, the relationship shifted dramatically. That tells you how fragile locker room dynamics can be on veteran super teams. This is where young players usually make a mistake. They think talent automatically creates chemistry. It does not. Some of the most talented teams in NBA history failed because personalities never connected properly. Basketball is emotional. If guys stop trusting each other, no amount of talent fixes it. And the Lakers are one of the clearest examples of that in recent years. You can even go back and look at the reactions from fans during that season. Lakers fans were frustrated almost immediately. People questioned lineups constantly. Social media clips of LeBron looking irritated on the bench would go viral every week. Analysts kept debating whether the team respected Frank Vogel. Some players reportedly felt uncertain about their roles from game to game. It all added up slowly until the season completely unraveled. What Dwight is saying now basically confirms that the tension fans sensed from the outside was real. There really was discomfort in that environment. And once things started slipping, it became harder and harder to fix because expectations were still championship level. That is the brutal reality of playing with LeBron. Second place is failure. Losing in the playoffs is failure. Missing the playoffs becomes an embarrassment that follows everybody involved. And the ironic part is that Dwight actually seemed to embrace his role during the 2020 title run. He sacrificed touches, he defended, he rebounded, he brought energy. That version of Dwight helped the Lakers win. But later versions of the team never found the same balance. Too many players wanted different things, too many expectations collided together.
Now fans are debating what Dwight truly meant by something felt off. Was he talking about leadership, chemistry, ego clashes, trust issues? Probably a little of everything, because locker room problems are rarely just one thing. They build slowly through frustration, miscommunication, pressure, and disappointment. The bigger legacy conversation here is fascinating because it affects how people will eventually remember LeBron's Lakers era. The championship in 2020 obviously matters. Nobody can take that away. But the years after that became increasingly chaotic. Roster turnover, coaching changes, constant trade rumors, public frustration, aging stars, injuries, and now former teammates are quietly pulling back the curtain on how strange things felt internally. That does not erase LeBron's greatness at all, but it does show how difficult it becomes to sustain championship culture over multiple years when pressure never stops. Even all-time legends eventually deal with locker room fatigue around them. We saw it with Kobe, we saw it with Jordan late in his career, and now people are looking at LeBron's later Lakers years through a similar lens. Dwight Howard speaking out is also interesting because he has nothing to gain from pretending anymore. He already won a championship. He already rebuilt parts of his reputation. He's at the stage where former players start reflecting honestly about what really happened behind the scenes. And usually those reflections tell us far more than the polished interviews players give during the season itself. What fans are reacting to most is the honesty. Dwight is not pretending everything was perfect. He's not acting like the Lakers' collapse was only because of injuries or bad luck. He's hinting at something deeper emotionally, something that made the locker room feel uncomfortable even before the losses piled up. And if you're a Lakers fan, that probably hurts to hear, because people wanted that era to become another dynasty around LeBron. Instead, it turned into one of the most chaotic superstar experiments in recent NBA history. On paper, that roster should have terrified the league. In reality, it looked exhausted, disconnected, and emotionally drained half the time. Now the big debate is going to explode again. Was LeBron unfairly blamed for the Lakers drama? Or are Dwight Howard's comments proof that deeper issues existed around leadership and chemistry? Because one thing is clear after Dwight finally spoke out. Whatever happened inside that locker room, even the players themselves knew something never felt right.